A block and a half from me is a street called Larpenteur Avenue. Larpenteur Avenue is where a couple nights ago a police officer pulled over Philando Castille, and in case you haven't heard the news, it's making international headlines. This man was pulled over supposedly for a broken taillight. We don't have all the details yet, and he was shot 4 times with a 4-year-old in the back seat and killed, and his girlfriend live streamed as he died in the car. What I see when I see a situation like this is fear. Last week, a wolf spider decided to camp out in my bathtub. I thought, well, how smart of you, because wolf spiders are in no danger from me whatsoever. I'm not afraid of spiders. Spiders don't bother me in the least. They kill a lot of bugs. Charlotte's Web, right? On the other hand, I am a bit waspist because I have been stung by wasps without provocation. I don't understand their behavior, although I still prefer to be the hero to a wasp. I would still prefer to catch the wasp, do catch and release. If there's a wasp in my house, I'll try to set it free outside. But if the wasp behaves erratically, if the wasp gets too close to me, if they're flying too fast, if they're just not behaving the way that I would anticipate they ought to behave, chances are I will either just trap them in a windowsill if I can catch them and walk away, and then they'll probably starve to death, a long, slow death, or I'll kill them if that's all I see that I have the option to do. So when you look at these two situations, what's the difference? I'm afraid of wasps. I am not afraid of spiders. So wasps get poorer treatment from me than spiders do. Wasps are in more danger from me than spiders. So it all comes back to a fear-based issue. Why do we always go to the worst case scenario? So this officer, obviously in his head, he had himself all worked up where he was going out into a war zone and he was clearly controlled by fear, and that's why he ended up doing something so crazy. We need to say that it's going to stop here. The sniper situation in Dallas is obviously more escalation. This is how this sort of thing foments. I was in a coffee house last night and a couple of law enforcement officers walked in the door. I attempted to smile, make eye contact and smile like I do with most strangers who cross my path, which I hear is a Minnesota thing. Instead of making eye contact with me, they wouldn't even look at me. They looked ashamed and afraid, and it was written all over their faces. And at that point, I wished I could have come up with something encouraging to say, but the moment took me by surprise and I just had nothing. But I thought that would be a good action point. Law enforcement officers don't go into that line of work. Granted, there's your occasional sociopath, but law enforcement officers, they go into that line of work because they want to be superheroes. They're little boys and girls who want to be heroes, and they become police officers so that they can, in their mind, so that they can save the day. We also had a story, it did not make national news, but here in St. Paul there was a 7-year-old girl, and the cops she was abducted by a man with a mental illness and taken into a boarding house. She had been tied up and was being held hostage in his home. The St. Paul police went right into action. They cordoned off the neighborhood, interviewed everyone, and they had her tracked down within the hour. And so that little girl's life was spared. That did not make international news, and it was excellent police work. It was where the police did the thing that they were called to do. Thank you for rescuing a 7-year-old girl. But when you act on fear, you are a danger to your community. So that is why a man was senselessly killed, was clearly out of fear. Why else would you shoot into a vehicle with a 4-year-old sitting in the back of it? That's insane. I don't care what comes out, that is not rational. To the extent that you can confront your fear, you win at life. And to the extent that you are controlled by fear and fear influences your decisions, you will make really crappy decisions. If you repay evil for evil, you always get more evil. That is not the answer. We don't want police officers shot in cold blood. A small action point might be that you smile at someone who you'd normally be inclined to be afraid of. Say something nice to a cop. They need the affirmation right now. Trust me, they do. Thanks for watching.